Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all want to go see some Christmas lights at the MSU Burns Fantasy of Lights? Let's do a walkthrough and check it out. Go ahead. Plenty of places to get your picture made.
In the late 1920s, the recently married Mr. and Mrs. L.T. Burns celebrated their first Christmas together in their modest home on 10th Street in Wichita Falls by setting a small Christmas tree on their front porch and decorating it with a single, blue bulb. It was a small gesture, but an extremely meaningful one for the young couple, especially Mr. Burns, who grew up in a family unable to afford such luxuries as Christmas trees. As the years passed and Mr. Burns became more successful in the oil industry, the couple continued the tradition they began that first Christmas. Each year they set up a display of some kind, and each year the display became a little more elaborate than the year before. In May 1971, Mrs. Burns, who had brought joy to so many people, died and the display was discontinued. In her will she stipulated that her son could keep the display or leave it to the care of Archer City, where many employees of the Burns estate lived and worked. The display remained in storage for the next 3 years. Following the death of Mrs. Burns' son in 1974, Archer City offered the display to Midwestern State University on the condition that the display be operated free to the public as a memorial to Mrs. Burns. Because MSU did not have the funds necessary to operate and maintain such an enormous project, a non-profit Fantasy of Lights committee was formed to raise the thousands of dollars needed to buy paint, equipment and materials needed to restore the display and prepare for its exhibition during the 1974 Christmas season. A volunteer force of local townspeople, MSU students, faculty, and staff, and airmen from Shepherd Air Force Base, spent many long hours repairing and restoring each scene. On December 4, 1974, the master switch was thrown and the MSU Burns Fantasy of Lights became a reality. To this day, the MSU Burns Fantasy of Lights continues to light up Taft Boulevard and the eyes of its visitors. While the display is free, donations are welcome to ensure the future of the displays.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for the Fantasy of Lights for this year. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. And also be sure and hit that like button, share, and keep on keeping on. I'll see y'all down the road. Bye.